My beloved child, I have seen the way you carry the weight of worlds you did not build. Come close now, and let the noise of the world fade into the deep, echoing silence of my eternal presence. I have seen you sitting in the quiet, lonely hours of the night, your heart heavy with a burden that feels far older than your own years. You have been carrying a weight that was never meant for your shoulders alone, a lingering shadow of lack, a persistent whisper that tells you there will never be enough. I want you to know that I have been watching the tapestry of your lineage for generations. I saw the toil of your grandfathers as they looked at the dry earth, wondering if the rain would ever come to reward their calloused hands. I saw your grandmothers as they made miracles out of crumbs, their hearts racing with the silent fear of being found wanting at the end of the month. That spirit of scarcity, that ancestral ghost of poverty, has wove its way through your family tree like a vine seeking to choke the life out of a garden. But today, I am speaking a new word over your life. Today, the cycle stops. I am the God of the overflow, the one who calls light out of darkness and plenty out of the void. You have felt the sting of anxiety when the bills arrive, and the hollow ache in your chest when you look at your future and see only walls instead of open doors. You have felt uniquely alone in this struggle, as if you are fighting a battle against an invisible tide that always seeks to pull you back. My child, you are not alone. I am standing in the midst of your storm, and I am reaching out my hand to steady yours. The spirit of poverty is not merely about the absence of gold. It is a mindset of fear that makes you feel unworthy of the abundance I have prepared for you. It is a voice that says you must settle for leftovers while I have prepared a banquet. I am here to break those internal chains. I am breathing my spirit into your finances, your health, and your very soul. Think of the lilies of the field. They do not toil, yet I clothe them in splendor. How much more do I care for you, my precious one? The struggle that plagued your ancestors, the constant just getting by, I am severing those roots right now. By my divine decree 42,821, I am marking this moment as the threshold of your liberation. I am reaching into the deep places of your history, into the very DNA of your spirit, and I am untying the knots of lack that were tied before you were even born. You have often wondered why, no matter how hard you work, there seems to be a ceiling you cannot break. That is not your failure. It is the friction of a spiritual inheritance that is being dissolved this very hour. I am replacing the spirit of heaviness with the garment of praise. I am replacing the fear of the mailbox with the joy of my provision. When you look at your accounts, I want you to see my hand of multiplication. When you look at your home, I want you to see the evidence of my faithfulness. You are not an orphan wandering the streets. You are a child of the King, and the King's treasury is open to you. I am healing the trauma of lack that has left you feeling like you must hoard, or that you must hide, or that you must constantly prove your worth through exhaustive labor. Your worth is fixed in my love, not in your production. I am speaking peace to your nervous system, which has been tuned to the frequency of survival for too long. Switch your frequency to the rhythm of my grace. I am sending angels to the four corners of your life to gather the resources that have been held up by the enemy. I am commanding the north, the south, the east, and the west to give up the blessings that belong to your name. You will find that doors that were once bolted shut will now swing open at your touch. People will be moved to favor you for reasons they cannot explain. This is the miracle of the release. It is a foundational shift that will change the trajectory of your children's children. They will not know the limitation that defined your youth. They will walk in the wide, open spaces of my generosity. I see the tears you have wept in secret, the ones that stained your pillow when you thought no one was listening. Every drop has been collected in my bottle. I know the exact number of hairs on your head and the exact number of worries in your soul. I am here to tell you that the season of weeping is over. Can you hear the sound of the chains falling? It is a rattling of iron on the floor of your soul, growing louder as the weight lifts. You are standing taller now. Your eyes are beginning to see the horizon instead of just the dust beneath your feet. I am the one who gives you the power to get wealth, not through soul-crushing toil, but through divine alignment. I am placing a key in your hand, the key of 42,821, which represents the unlocking of the gates that were closed against your bloodline. No longer will you be defined by what you lack. You will be defined by whose you are. You are the heir to the creator of the universe. The stars belong to me, and I am your father. Why should you tremble at a bill? I am larger than any number on a piece of paper. I am the source that never runs dry. As you go about your day, carry this assurance with you. Speak to the mountains of debt and command them to be moved. You are being covered in a blanket of peace that the world cannot understand. This is your heritage. This is your moment. This is my love in action. I am with you always and forever. Rest now, my child. Your breakthrough is not coming. It is here. Walk with me further into the archives of your lineage, for I want to show you exactly where the knot is being untied. I see the ghosts of the past that have haunted your decision-making, those quiet voices of your ancestors who lived in the grip of not quite enough. I see your great-grandmother, whose eyes were always searching the horizon for a storm, fearing that any moment of peace was merely the precursor to a greater tragedy. She lived in a state of perpetual bracing, and that tension has lived in your shoulders for years. But today, I am placing my hand upon your back and commanding that tension to dissolve. The poverty of spirit that tells you to hide, to hoard, and to fear the future is being evicted from your bloodline. You are no longer the child of a drought. You are the child of the living water. Think back to those moments in your childhood when you felt the weight of your parents' unspoken financial stress. You absorbed their sighs like a sponge, learning that the world was a place of limited resources and harsh competition. I am here to unlearn those lessons for you. I am teaching you the language of the kingdom, where the currency is faith and the economy is governed by my infinite supply. The key of 42,821 is turning in the lock of your heart right now. It is a sequence of release. 4 represents the stability I am bringing to your foundations. No longer will you build on shifting sands. 2 is the partnership we share. You are never carrying the burden alone again. 8 is the number of the new beginning, the 8th day where the old world ends and the new creation begins. 2 represents the double portion of favor I am pouring out to compensate for the years the locusts have eaten. And 1 is our union, the place where my will and your life become a single stream of purpose. Do not be surprised when you find yourself breathing deeper today. Do not be startled when the familiar panic that rises when you think of the future suddenly finds no purchase in your mind. I am smoothing out the jagged edges of your soul. I want you to look at your hands. They were made to create, to bless, and to receive. They were not made to be clenched in fists of worry. I am opening your palms so that the old, stale crumbs of survival can fall away, making room for the fresh manna I am providing. This is not a temporary relief. It is a permanent relocation. I am moving you from the wilderness of barely making it to the land of more than enough. I remember the specific nights you stayed awake, calculating numbers in your head, trying to stretch $1 until it screamed. I saw you sacrificing your own needs to ensure others were fed or clothed. Your selflessness has not gone unnoticed, but I want you to know that you do not have to suffer to be holy. Poverty is not a badge of righteousness. It is a cage I am breaking open. You are being invited to dream again. What would you do if the shadow of lack was completely removed? What seeds would you plant if you knew the harvest was guaranteed? I am watering the soil of your imagination. I am removing the thorns of what if and I can't. I want you to walk through your home today and notice the small things, the way the light hits the floor, the warmth of your tea, the sound of your own breath. These are the whispers of my presence, the reminders that you are cared for in the minutest detail. I am even attending to the things you haven't dared to pray for yet. The repairs that need to be made, the debts that feel like millstones around your neck, the dreams that you tucked away in a dusty drawer because they seemed too expensive to pursue. I am breathing life into all of them. You are beginning to vibrate with the frequency of my abundance. This is why the things that used to bother you are starting to feel distant. You are rising above the cloud cover. From my perspective, your problems are like tiny specks of dust, easily blown away by a single breath of my spirit. Do you feel the warmth in your chest? That is the fire of my love consuming the dross of ancestral lack. Your children and your children's children will walk through doors that were locked to you because you had the courage to believe me today. You are the bridge builder, the one who is breaking the cycle. The legacy of struggle ends here, in this holy moment of recognition. I am dressing you in a garment of praise instead of a spirit of heaviness. You will walk into rooms and people will sense a shift in the atmosphere, not because of what you wear, but because of the King who walks within you. You are a walking testament to my restoration. Every time you choose trust over panic, you are winning a battle for your entire family tree. I am looking at you with such pride, my beloved. I see your growth, and I see your heart turning toward me like a flower to the sun. Stay in this light. Let it permeate the dark corners where the old fears still hide. I am shining my glory into the cracks of your past, filling them with the gold of my grace. You are whole. You are provided for. You are free. I am unweaving the tapestry of lack that was woven through generations of toil. Your ancestors labored under a heavy sun, believing that their worth was tied to the sweat of their brow and the hardness of their hands. They were told that to be poor was to be humble, but I tell you that true humility is accepting the abundance I have prepared for you. I am replacing the poverty consciousness with presence consciousness. When you are conscious of my presence, you are conscious of infinite supply. Think of the lilies. They do not toil or spin, yet I clothe them in more glory than the greatest kings. You are much more precious to me than the flowers of the field. I am removing the internal ceiling that has limited your expectations. For too long, you have only asked for enough to get by, fearing that asking for more was greedy. But I am a father who loves to give good gifts to his children. My storehouses are not diminished by your asking, they are celebrated. I am expanding your capacity to receive. It is like I am enlarging the banks of the river of your life so that it can hold a greater flow of my blessing. Feel the expansion in your spirit. It may feel unfamiliar, even a bit frightening, to let go of the safety of smallness. But smallness is not where you belong. You were created for the vastness of my kingdom. I am taking you back to the moment the first seed of lack was planted in your lineage. Perhaps it was a famine, a war, or a sudden loss that left your ancestors trembling. I am going back to that root and I am pouring my healing oil over it. I am rewriting the story. Where there was a narrative of not enough, I am writing overflow. Where there was a story of loss, I am writing restoration. You are the protagonist of this new chapter. When you wake up tomorrow, I want you to act as if the wealth of the universe is at your disposal, because it is. This doesn't mean recklessness. It means a quiet, unshakable confidence. It means you no longer have to grab and scramble. You can walk with the dignity of an heir. I am setting a table for you in the presence of your enemies, those enemies of debt, fear, and stagnation. They will watch as I pour oil over your head and your cup runs over. They will have no power to stop the blessing, for it is signed with my own name. Listen to the rhythm of your heart. It is beating with a new cadence. It is the sound of freedom. It is the sound of the prisoner going free. The key of 42,821 is not just a number. It is a signature of my sovereignty over your circumstances. It is the code that bypasses the world's systems and connects you directly to the heavenly treasury. Use it in your prayers. Use it as a reminder that the gates are open. I'm not a God who is far off, watching you struggle from a distance. I am the God who is in the trenches with you, turning your struggle into a victory lap. I am the God who turns the desert into a pool of water and the parched ground into springs. That transformation is happening inside of you right now. You are becoming a wellspring. Others will come to you to be refreshed, and you will have more than enough to share, for the source within you is eternal. Rest in this truth. Let it settle into your bones. The transition is complete. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. You are my masterpiece, and I am finishing the work I began in you with a flourish of gold. Feel the weight of those ancestral chains finally hitting the floor. The echo they make is not one of mourning, but of a heavy door finally swinging open. I see the moments when you stood in the grocery aisle, your heart racing as you mentally subtracted items from your basket, the silent, frantic prayer that the card would not be declined. I saw you look at the luxury of others not with envy, but with a deep, aching sense of exclusion, as if there were a glass wall between you and the goodness of the earth. That wall is shattered. I have reached back through the timelines of your lineage to the very root where the lie of not enough was first planted. I am pulling it out, fiber by fiber. I see your grandmother's hands, calloused and tight with the fear of tomorrow's hunger. I see your father's eyes, shadowed by the burden of debts he could never outrun. Their struggle was real, but their story is not your conclusion. You are the point of departure. You are the one in whom the cycle of scarcity breaks. From this moment on, when you look at your hands, do not see tools of survival, see instruments of grace. I am untying the knots in your stomach that tighten every time a bill arrives in the mail. I am replacing that cold, hollow pang of dread with a warmth that radiates from your center. You will find yourself walking into rooms you once thought were reserved for them, the ones you believed were born under a luckier star. But there is no luck here, only my favor, which knows no boundaries. Notice the subtle shifts in your daily walk. You will begin to notice opportunities that were invisible to you yesterday because your eyes were too focused on the ground. When you speak of the future, the words "if only" will be replaced by "even now." I am teaching you the language of the kingdom, where the word lack does not exist. You used to dream of merely getting by. Now, I am inviting you to dream of being the source of someone else's miracle. Think of the freedom in being able to give without calculating the remainder. Think of the peace in knowing that your storehouse is not a physical building, but a connection to my infinite supply. The key of 42,821 is vibrating within your spirit. It is the frequency of access. Every time a shadow of the old poverty tries to creep back into your thoughts, every time the old ghost of "it's too good to be true" whispers in your ear, speak that code as a declaration. It is the sound of the vault opening. I am not just giving you a fish, I am giving you the sea. I am not just giving you a roof, I am making you a pillar. Your children will not know the frantic heartbeat of a home haunted by debt. They will grow up in the atmosphere of more than enough. They will see you resting, and they will learn that provision is a promise, not a pursuit. This is the healing of your family tree. The sap that flows through the branches now is rich with my glory. You are being reparented by the King of Kings. I am teaching you how to receive. This is often harder for you than giving, for the spirit of poverty convinced you that you had to earn every crumb. But I am handing you the whole loaf, fresh and warm, and I am asking you to simply sit and eat. I am even now rearranging your social circles, bringing people into your life who speak the language of abundance, who will sharpen your vision and call you higher. You will no longer feel like an imposter in the presence of prosperity. You will realize that you belong at the head of the table because I am the one who pulled out the chair for you. I am smoothing the wrinkles of worry from your brow. Look in the mirror and see the person I see, a vessel of honor, a gateway for heaven's resources to enter the physical world. Your very presence will begin to shift the economy of the places you enter. Stagnant businesses will find new life when you walk through the door because you carry the atmosphere of the overflow. You are the breach repairer. You are the one who turns the desert path into a highway of commerce and blessing. Do not be afraid of the magnitude of this shift. It is not something you have to carry. It is something that carries you. Like a boat caught in a powerful current of grace, you are being swept toward a horizon of limitless possibility. The old landmarks of your limitations are fading behind you. You don't have to look back to see if the past is following. I have placed a guard of angels at the gate of your history, and nothing that belonged to that season of lack is permitted to cross over into this one. You are safe. You are provided for. You are deeply, profoundly loved. We are just beginning to explore the depths of this treasury. There are rooms in your heart you haven't even unlocked yet, filled with creative ideas and inventions that will create wealth not just for you, but for generations. I am breathing on those dormant seeds. Can you feel the internal quickening? It is the pulse of a new era. We are moving from the desert of survival into the garden of dominion, and I am holding your hand every step of the way. Notice how the rhythm of your breathing is changing. The shallow, rapid inhalations of the hunted are being replaced by the deep, resonant breaths of the air. For generations, your bloodline has lived in a state of alert, waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for the famine to return, waiting for the harvest to be stolen. I am healing that ancestral trauma in the very marrow of your bones. I am going back through the corridors of time, visiting the storehouses of your ancestors that were looted by fear, and I am declaring a restoration. Every dream your father had to bury because of necessity, every creative spark your mother had to extinguish to keep the lights on, I am gathering those embers and blowing them into a flame within you. You are the culmination of their silent prayers. You are the answer to the petitions they were too weary to finish. Tonight, as you rest, I am removing the poverty-tinted glasses from your eyes. You have been seeing opportunities as obstacles. You have been seeing abundance as a threat to your safety because you were taught that too much only means more to lose. I am breaking that lie. I am teaching you the language of more than enough. When you walk into your workplace tomorrow, notice the shift in the atmosphere. The walls will seem wider. The ceiling will seem higher. The people who once intimidated you with their titles will suddenly appear as they truly are, souls in need of the light you carry. You will no longer shrink in the presence of importance, for you are backed by the importance of the ages. I have placed a signet ring on your finger, and when you sign your name, when you commit to a project, when you speak a word of encouragement, it carries the weight of my kingdom. I want to talk to you about the specific things that have kept you awake at night. That ledger of debts that feels like a heavy chain. I am not just providing the means to pay it. I am changing the way you view the flow of resources. Debt is a symptom of the desert. Supply is the law of the garden. As you step into this dominion, you will find that the resources you need are often hidden in the mouth of the fish, in the most unexpected places. An old contact will call you out of the blue. A project you thought was dead will suddenly receive funding. A simple idea you had while washing the dishes will become the foundation for a legacy. Do not dismiss these as coincidences. They are the gears of my providence turning in your favor. You are moving out of the era of sweat and toil and into the era of favor and flow. It does not mean you will not work, but your work will no longer be an exhausting struggle against the wind. It will be a joyful sailing with the wind at your back. Can you feel the release in your chest? That tightness, That knot of anxiety that has lived there since you were a child watching your parents worry over the kitchen table. It is dissolving. I am pouring the oil of joy into that space. I am filling the hollow places of your past with the solid weight of my presence. You are not an orphan fighting for crumbs. You are a guest at a table that never runs dry. I am even changing your physical environment. The clutter that mirrored your internal chaos will begin to clear. You will find yourself drawn to beauty, to order, to excellence. This is not vanity. It is the manifestation of the king's child recognizing their natural habitat. You were never meant for the gray shadows of just getting by. You were designed for the vibrant colors of the overflow. Let's look at the people in your life. Some will not understand this shift. They are still accustomed to the old you, the one who agreed with their complaints, the one who joined in their choruses of "we can't afford it." Do not be angry with them, but do not let their limitations become your boundaries. You are a pioneer now. You are carving a path through the thicket of lack so that those who follow you, your children, your friends, your community, can walk on a paved road of prosperity. Your life is becoming a testimonial that the spirit of poverty is a defeated foe. When they see your peace, when they see your quiet confidence in the face of economic storms, they will ask you for your secret, and you will tell them, "I stopped trying to fill my own cup and let the source overflow it." We are going deeper now. I am taking you into the vault of divine strategies. In this place, there are no recessions. There are no market crashes. There is only the infinite creativity of the Creator. I am whispering secrets to you in the quiet moments, the way to streamline your business, the way to invest your time, the way to bless others so that the blessing multiplies. You will start to see patterns where others see chaos. You will see the silver lining not as a consolation prize, but as the actual vein of silver I want you to mine. I am awakening your intuition to the frequency of heaven's economy. You will know when to move and when to stand still. You will know when to sow and when to reap. This is the wisdom that creates wealth without adding sorrow. It is a gentle, guiding hand. Trust it, trust me. We are rewriting the story of your name. Where it once stood for struggle, it will now stand for surplus. Where it once stood for barely, it will now stand for bountiful. We are just at the threshold of this transformation, and the air ahead of you is sweet with the scent of blossoming promise. Keep walking with me. The garden is even more beautiful than you imagined. Look back for a moment, not with the eyes of regret, but with the eyes of a redeemer. Can you see them? The ones who came before you, sitting at wooden kitchen tables under the dim light of a single bulb, moving around the same tired numbers in their ledgers, trying to make ends meet where the ends simply would not touch. I saw every sigh. I heard every whispered prayer that was muffled by the weight of not enough. That spirit of poverty was a heavy, gray cloak passed down from shoulder to shoulder, a familiar garment of lack that convinced your lineage that they were meant to live in the shadows of the world's abundance. But I am the one who steps into the timeline to sever the threads of that old, frayed tapestry. I am peeling that cloak off your shoulders right now. Feel the lightness. Feel the warmth of my presence where the chill of scarcity used to reside. You are the pivot point. You are the generation where the drought ends and the irrigation of my grace begins to flow. This isn't just about the numbers in your bank account. It is about the posture of your soul. I am healing the poverty of spirit, that deep-seated fear that the supply will run out, that the other shoe will drop, that you are somehow unworthy of the feast I have prepared for you. I am replacing that fear with a sovereign confidence. When you look at your children, you will no longer see heirs to a struggle. You will see heirs to a promise. We are clearing the debris from the ancestral wells. The water is rising, and it is clear, cold, and life-giving. Think of the moments when you used to feel that sudden pang of anxiety in your chest, the moment the mail arrived or when an unexpected expense surfaced. That tightness was the echo of your ancestors' trauma. I am speaking peace into your nervous system. I am recalibrating your heartbeat to the rhythm of my provision. Imagine a great hall, a corridor of destiny, where the portraits of your forefathers hang. I am walking through that hall with you, and at each frame I am rewriting the legacy. Where there was debt, I am writing discharged. Where there was toil, I am writing triumph. I am inviting you to see your work not as a means to survive, but as a platform for my glory. In the vault of divine strategies, I am handing you the keys to doors you didn't even know existed. You will find yourself in rooms with people who speak the language of possible. You will find yourself receiving insights in the middle of the night, vivid dreams of blueprints, creative solutions to old problems, and ways to automate your efforts so that you can spend more time in my rest. This is the uncommon favor that bypasses the traditional ladders of success. I am the one who promotes. I am the one who opens doors that no man can shut. Let's talk about the little things that are actually big things. Watch as the groceries last longer than they should. Watch as the mechanical issue that should have cost a fortune is resolved by a simple, intuitive fix. Watch as a person you haven't spoken to in years reaches out with an opportunity that perfectly aligns with your deepest passions. These are the kisses from heaven, the small tokens of my affection that remind you that you are seen and meticulously cared for. You are moving from a mindset of buying to a mindset of stewardship. You will no longer ask, "Can I afford this?" but rather, "How can I use this to expand the territory of love?" I am giving you a heart that is large enough to contain the overflow. A small heart can only hold a small amount, but I am stretching your capacity to receive so that you can become a conduit. Do not be afraid of the stretching. It feels like tension, but it is actually the preparation for the pour. I am pouring out a vintage of joy that has been aging for generations, waiting for the one who would finally believe me. I want you to take a deep breath and smell the air of your new reality. It smells of rain on dry earth. It smells of the harvest that is ready for the sickle. You have spent so long bracing for impact that you have forgotten how to relax into the embrace. Let your shoulders drop. Let the muscles in your jaw soften. The battle for your family's dignity is won. I have taken the shame of the poor and traded it for the robe of the righteous. You will walk into high places and feel completely at home because you know that you are there on my invitation. You will speak with kings and influencers, and your voice will not tremble because your security is not in their approval, but in my bottomless supply. We are building something that will outlast you. We are planting oaks of righteousness that will provide shade for your grandchildren's grandchildren. The scarcity mindset is a ghost, and I am the light that makes the ghosts vanish. Even now, in the quiet, I am working on your behalf in places you cannot see, in boardrooms you haven't entered, in hearts you haven't met, in markets that are just now forming. You are perfectly positioned. You are my beloved, and the storehouses of heaven are open for you. Stay here in this stillness with me. There is so much more I want to reveal to your heart before the sun sets today. Can you feel the shift in the atmosphere of your inner room? It is the sound of the chains of calculation falling away. For centuries, your bloodline has lived by the rhythm of the minus sign. Your grandfather sat at a wooden table with a pencil stub, calculating how to stretch a loaf that was never quite enough, and that same ghost of measurement tried to sit at the table with you. It whispered that there would never be a surplus, that joy was a luxury you couldn't afford, and that a rainy day was always just around the corner. But I am the God of the deluge, and I am rewriting your family's ledger with the ink of my abundance. I am erasing the not quite and the almost from your vocabulary. Listen closely. You no longer have to apologize for the space you occupy. I am teaching your feet how to stand on ground that doesn't feel like shifting sand. Do you remember the tightness in your chest whenever an unexpected envelope arrived in the mail? That was the spirit of poverty trying to reclaim its territory. I am breathing into that space now, expanding your lungs, telling you that every bill has a provider and every need has a warehouse in my kingdom. I am taking you back to the roots of the tree, to the very moment where the lie of never enough first entered your lineage. Perhaps it was a famine or a betrayal or a systemic wall that seemed too high to climb. Whatever it was, I am standing at that root with a golden axe. I am severing the connection between your identity and your bank balance. You are not a sum of your assets. You are a reflection of my glory, and my glory has no bottom. I want you to look at your hands. For a long time, they have been clenched tight, trying to hold onto the little you had. Open them. Let them be soft. In the kingdom of the Spirit, a closed fist can receive nothing new. As you open your palms, I am pouring in the wisdom of the steward. I am not just giving you wealth. I am giving you the heart to carry it without it becoming your master. I am showing you how to be a river instead of a reservoir. Think of the homes you will build, not just of stone and mortar, but homes of peace where children never have to wonder if there is enough. Think of the tables you will set, where the conversation is not about survival, but about dreams and expansion and the goodness of the Father. I see the places where you felt less than because of the clothes you wore or the neighborhood you came from. I am washing away that residue of shame. I am putting a ring on your finger and a new song in your mouth. You are moving from the back of the line to the place of honor, not because of your own striving, but because it is my good pleasure to give you the kingdom. You have wrestled with the fear of using it all up, as if my grace were a finite resource. But my grace is like the widow's oil. It flows as long as there is a vessel to receive it. So, bring me more vessels. Bring me your big ideas, your impossible projects, and your hidden desires that you were too afraid to voice because they seemed too expensive for a person like you. Nothing is too expensive for the one who owns the mountains. I am shifting your gaze from the dirt at your feet to the horizon I have prepared for you. I am removing the poverty of spirit that makes you think small. I am stretching the curtains of your habitation. Do not hold back. For too long, your family has lived in the safe shadows of the minimum. I am calling you into the bright, terrifying, wonderful light of the maximum. I am clearing the path of the thorns of debt and the briars of lack. Even the way you think about time is changing. You no longer have to hurry out of a fear that the opportunity will vanish. I am the Lord of time, and I am making your moments count for eternity. I am restoring the years that the locust has eaten, the years your parents lost to stress, the years your ancestors lost to systemic chains. I am bundling those lost years and handing them to you as a compounded blessing. You are the tipping point. You are the one who breaks the cycle. Because you chose to trust me in the lean season, I am entrusting you with the harvest of 1,000 years. Stay in this warmth. Let the heat of my presence melt the last ice of scarcity in your bones. We are just beginning to see what a life fully released from the spirit of poverty can accomplish. I have maps to show you, territories that have been waiting for someone with your specific footprint to claim them. The weight you felt on your shoulders for so many years was never yours to carry. It was the accumulated gravity of 1,000 no's spoken to your ancestors, a phantom burden that convinced you that your natural state was one of struggle. I am speaking a yes that echoes back through your bloodline, vibrating in the marrow of your bones until the frequency of lack is shattered forever. Think of your great-grandfather, whose back was bent not just by the physical harvest, but by the crushing knowledge that the harvest did not belong to him. I am reaching back into that soil and redeeming the sweat of his brow. What was stolen from him in wages, I am restoring to you in wisdom, opportunity, and a peace that surpasses all calculation. Do you feel the tightening in your chest when you think about the future? That is the spirit of the orphan trying to convince you that you are alone in a desert, but I have turned your desert into a place of springs. Look at the kitchen table of your childhood. Remember the way the air felt heavy when the mail arrived. I am replacing that heavy air with the oxygen of my peace. You will no longer look at a bill and see a threat. You will see an invitation to watch me work. I am teaching you the language of more than enough. It is a language your people forgot how to speak when they were forced into the corners of the world. I am bringing you out of the corners and into the center of the room. I am placing a signet ring on your finger, the same ring that was lost when your family fled their true inheritance generations ago. This ring represents the authority to decree a thing and see it established. When you walk into a store, when you look at a piece of land, when you consider a business venture, I want you to feel the weight of that ring. It is the weight of my promise. I am healing the poverty of the eyes, that habit of looking for the cheapest, most broken option because you feel you aren't worth the best. I am the God of the best. I am the God of the gold of Ophir and the cedars of Lebanon. I didn't create the universe with a budget, and I didn't create your life with a limit. I am stretching your imagination until it can house the magnitude of my plans. You have been living in a small, cramped room of possibility, but I have kicked out the walls. I am showing you the blueprints of the legacy you are building. It is not just about currency in a bank. It is about the currency of influence, the ability to change the trajectory of lives you haven't even met yet. I am the one who gives you the power to get wealth, and I am doing it so that you can be a conduit of my kingdom. Think of the dreams you buried because they felt like luxuries you couldn't afford. I am resurrecting them now. That creative spark, that desire to lead, that hunger to build, those were not accidents. They were the seeds I planted, waiting for the climate of your life to shift from the winter of scarcity to the spring of my favor. That spring is here. The ground is soft. The rains are falling. I am healing the very way your brain processes hope. For too long, hope felt like a danger, a setup for disappointment. I am making hope a safe place for you again. I am surrounding you with a hedge of abundance. This is not a wall to keep people out, but a garden so vast that you can invite the broken and the hungry to feast from your overflow. You are becoming the repairer of the breach. Because you have known what it is to have little, you will know how to handle much with a heart of gratitude that never grows cold. I am taking the scales of lack off your eyes so you can see the wealth that is hidden in plain sight, the ideas, the connections, the chance encounters that are actually my divine appointments. You are no longer running to catch up. You are walking in a rhythm of grace where everything you need finds you. I am shifting the atmosphere of your home. The sigh of the exhausted is being replaced by the laughter of the free. Your children will not know the scent of financial fear. They will grow up in the aroma of my provision. They will not have to unlearn the lessons of not enough because you are breaking those lessons now. You are the architect of a new family history. I am giving you a new name, blessed to be a blessing. Stay with me in this realization. Let it sink deep, past your intellect and into your spirit. The chains are not just unlocked, they are dissolved. There is nothing to go back to. The old house is gone, the old debt is canceled, the old mindset is a shadow that vanishes in the noonday sun. I am leading you to a high mountain where you can see the territories I have assigned to you. They are vast, they are green, and they are yours. You are the one I have chosen to break the drought. Through you, the parched ground of your family tree will bloom like a rose. This is the hour of your transition. Do not look back at the safe shadows. Walk forward into the brilliance of my maximum. I am with you, and in me you have everything. This is just the beginning of the expansion. I have secrets of the deep to show you, riches hidden in dark places that I have reserved for this very moment in time. You are the key. You are the vessel. You are my beloved, and my hand is open wide toward you. Feel the warmth of that open hand. It is the only reality that matters now. Every other story of lack was a lie told by a defeated foe. The truth is that you are an heir to the King of Kings, and your inheritance is as infinite as my love for you. I am rewriting the very scripts of your internal monologue. Those whispers that told you, that's not for people like us, or better not to dream too high because the fall is painful. I am silencing them with the roar of my affirmation. I am taking you to the places where your ancestors were turned away, and I am opening the doors for you with my own hand. You will stand in rooms of power and you will not feel like an imposter, for you will know that I have seated you there. I am removing the famine mind that makes you hoard your time, your love, and your resources. I am replacing it with the feast mind that knows the supply is renewed every morning. Look at the horizon again. Do you see the clouds gathering? They are not the clouds of a coming storm, but the clouds of a heavy rain of favor. This is the suddenly season. The things that took others decades to achieve, I will do in your life in a matter of months because I am redeeming the time. I am the God who makes a way in the wilderness. I am the God who brings water from the rock. And you, my child, are the proof of my goodness to a watching world. People will look at your life and they will not see your effort. They will see my grace. They will ask, how did this happen? And you will smile, because you will know it was the moment you let go of the spirit of poverty and reached out for the hand of the Father. We are moving into the deep waters now. The shore of survival is fading from view. You don't need to fear the depth, for I am the Lord of the oceans. I am teaching you how to swim in the deep currents of my abundance. This is where the great harvests are. This is where the life-changing miracles reside. I am opening your heart to receive on a level that would have terrified you yesterday. But today, you are ready. Today, you are free. Today, you are the tipping point that changes everything for the generations to come. Watch as the ripples move outward from your center, reaching back into the cold corridors of your history and forward into the unwritten journals of your descendants. You are not just a person receiving a blessing. You are a structural shift in the lineage of your name. For too long, your family line was defined by the clench. It was a physical and spiritual tightening, a holding of the breath every time a bill arrived, a shrinking of the soul when dreams felt too expensive, and a quiet, persistent shame that whispered you were meant for the crumbs and not the loaf. I am reaching into those deep, cellular memories. I am touching the hands of your grandfather, who worked until his bones ached only to find the soil was stubborn and the harvest was thin. I am touching the heart of your mother, who learned to hide her desires so deeply she eventually forgot she had them. That inheritance of not enough ends with you. I am unclenching those phantom hands that still try to pull at your sleeves, reminding you of the lean years. I am rewriting the very code of your expectations. Think of the kitchen table of your childhood. Do you remember the weight of the air there? The unspoken rules that dictated you must work twice as hard for half as much. I am breaking that table. I am building a new one in the presence of your enemies, but this table is made of the cedars of Lebanon, and it is overflowing with the finest wine and the richest marrow. You used to walk into a room and look for the exit, wondering if you could afford to stay. Now, I want you to walk into every space as a son, as a daughter, who owns the very air you breathe. I am healing the orphan heart that believes it must earn my love through struggle. You have spent years thinking that your value was tied to your utility, to how much you could produce with your sweat. But I tell you, your value is tied to your identity. A prince does not earn his father's treasury. He inherits it because of whose he is. I am washing the dust of the survival years off your feet. You remember the anxiety that would flare up when the car made a strange noise or when the refrigerator was nearly empty. That was the spirit of poverty barking at your door like a mangy dog. I have silenced that dog. I am placing a new song in your mouth, a song of such profound peace that the world will stop to listen. This abundance I am speaking of is not a shallow thing of mere currency. It is a weightiness of spirit. It is the ability to look at a mountain and not see an obstacle, but a vantage point. It is the freedom to give your time away to the brokenhearted without checking your watch, because you know I am the keeper of your hours. I am expanding the capacity of your heart to hold joy. For years, you had a joy ceiling. You would allow yourself to feel good for a few hours, then you would wait for the other shoe to drop. You would brace yourself for the inevitable disaster, thinking that happiness was a loan you had to pay back with interest in sorrow. I am shattering that ceiling. There is no other shoe. There is only my hand holding you steady. I am teaching you to live in the unforced rhythms of grace. You see, the spirit of poverty makes everything heavy. It makes love heavy, it makes faith heavy, and it makes work a drudgery. But my spirit is light. I am taking the grind out of your life and replacing it with glory. People will see you and notice the change in your posture. Your shoulders, which have been rounded from the weight of ancestral burdens, are straightening. Your eyes, which have been trained to look at the dirt for lost coins, are looking at the stars for new directions. I am giving you the keys to storehouses you didn't even know existed. These are the storehouses of wisdom, of creative ideas that will birth industries, and of relationships that will open doors that were bolted shut for a century. Do not be surprised when I call you into places that seem too big for you. I'm not calling you there because of your size, but because of my size within you. You are a vessel of the infinite. How can a vessel of the infinite ever be empty? I am pouring into you until the cup runs over, and then I am making the cup larger. We are going deeper into the current now. Feel the warmth of the water. This is the stream of my providence. It doesn't require you to row. It requires you to trust. It requires you to lay back and let the current take you to the shores of the more than enough. You are becoming a person who can look at a crisis and see a harvest. You are becoming a person who can see the gold in others when they only see the dross. Because you are no longer hungry, you can feed the world. Because you are no longer poor, you can enrich the many. This is the true release, that you become a fountain instead of a drain. Can you feel it? The old skin is peeling away. The old labels struggler, victim, barely making it are being burned away in the fire of my presence. I am branding you with the word favored. It is a mark that cannot be hidden. It is a fragrance that precedes you. Even now I am preparing the hearts of people you have not yet met to help you, to partner with you, and to bless you. You won't have to manipulate or strive. They will find you, for the light of my favor is a beacon in the dark. Rest now in this truth. Let it settle into your marrow. You are free from the line of lack. You are the firstborn of a new legacy. Look at your hands. For generations, these hands have been clenched tight, holding onto the crumbs as if they were the last morsels on earth. I remember your grandfather's calloused palms, how he measured his worth by the salt of his sweat, and how the fear of a dry season kept his heart in a state of perpetual winter. I saw your mother sitting at that yellowed formica table, the hum of the old refrigerator a low-frequency accompaniment to her silent calculations, her lips moving in a rhythmic prayer that was more a plea for survival than a declaration of victory. That rhythm is etched in your nervous system. It is the reason you catch your breath when a bill arrives. It is the reason you feel a twinge of guilt when you enjoy a moment of luxury. But I am reaching into the very marrow of your history to extract the seed of not enough. I am washing the gray dust of the Great Depressions, those of the pocketbook and those of the soul, off your lineage. Can you feel the constriction in your chest loosening? That is the sound of 1,000 locked doors being kicked open at once. Your ancestors could only dream of the horizon you are standing on. They looked through the fog and saw shadows. I am clearing the air so you can see the landscape of my provision. This is not a temporary rain. This is a permanent change in the climate of your life. The soil of your family tree is being replenished. Where there was the acidity of debt, I am pouring the alkalinity of my grace. You are the one I have chosen to break the seal. You are the bridge between the years of lean and the decades of fatness. Do not be afraid to walk with your head held high. The shame that used to hang about your neck like a millstone is being replaced with a garment of praise that is light, airy, and woven from the finest threads of my kingdom. I am bringing you into a room where the walls are not closing in, but expanding. Do you remember the smallness of that childhood house? The way the air felt heavy with the unspoken weight of "we can't afford it." I am breathing a new word into your lungs: generosity. You are no longer the one waiting for the scraps to fall. You are the one hosting the banquet. I am giving you a divine intelligence for the marketplace, a holy intuition that sees the hidden treasure in the field while others are only complaining about the weeds. This week, watch for the subtle shifts. A conversation with a stranger will spark a vision that has been dormant for a decade. A forgotten resource will suddenly surface, reminding you that I have been stocking your storehouse even while you were sleeping. I am taking the survival mode out of your DNA. You have been running on adrenaline and anxiety for so long that peace feels like a foreign language, but I am teaching you the dialect of the Sabbath. You will work from a place of rest, not from a place of desperation. Think of the lilies. They do not toil, they do not spin, yet their wardrobe is the envy of kings. You are much more precious than a lily. I am weaving a life for you that is seamless, integrated, and overflowing. There is a specific mountain I am calling you to climb, and it isn't the mountain of struggle you've known. It is the mountain of influence. As you rise, the view will change. You will see that the obstacles that once looked like giants are merely pebbles from this altitude. I am giving you the keys to storehouses you didn't even know existed. Some of these keys are intellectual, new ideas, patents, and strategies. Some are relational, divine connections with people who carry the authority to open gates that have been barred for 100 years. I am also healing your eyes. For too long, you have looked through the lens of a budget. Now, I want you to look through the lens of a blessing. When you see a need, do not ask, "What do I have?" Ask, "What does my Father have?" The answer will always be everything. I am untying the knots in your stomach that tighten every time you think about the future. The future is not a predator waiting to consume you. It is a garden I have already planted, waiting for you to walk through the gates. I am restoring the years that the locusts of lack have eaten. The time you lost to worry, the energy you spent trying to make ends meet, the sleep you sacrificed to the God of just barely. I am giving it all back to you in a concentrated form of joy and productivity. You will accomplish more in 1 hour of my favor than you did in 10 years of your own striving. Feel the heat of my love melting the icy chains of your past. Your children will not know the smell of poverty. They will not know the frantic tone of a parent wondering if there will be enough. They will grow up in the atmosphere of more than enough. And they will think it is normal, for it is the atmosphere of their Father's house. You are recalibrating the very frequency of your household. The walls will soak in the peace. The floors will echo with the sound of laughter rather than the silence of stress. Even now, I am going ahead of you into your next meeting, your next transaction, your next creative endeavor. I am leveling the path. I am making the crooked places straight. I am the God who brings water out of the rock and manna from the sky, and I am doing a new thing in you that will make the ears of everyone who hears it tingle. This is the end of the desert. This is the beginning of the orchard. Take a deep breath. Can you smell the blossoms? Can you taste the sweetness of the fruit that is already ripening on the vine of your life? We are just beginning to explore the depths of this freedom. There is so much more I want to show you about the wealth of my heart and how it is mirrored in the world I have created for you to steward. Stay here with me in this current. Let the water rise until it covers your shoulders. There is no danger here. There is only the deep, pulsing rhythm of my infinite supply, calling to the deep within you.